Oh, I don't know. Because I wanted to redecorate. You know, a couple throw pillows, a TV news reporter. What do you think?
What's up, you fucking nerds? So, I am actually sitting here holding my camera because to get all these figures in the shot, I had to kind of back up a little bigger than my desk was. So, it's been a week or two since I've done a review, and I know I've been kind of slacking on it, but like I said, I'm not the type of channel that really gives a fuck. I do this for the Fayetteville community and for fellow nerds. You know, I give two shits about what regular toy collectors think. So yeah, I spent the afternoon at Miyabi Jr., my favorite little Japanese steak bowl house, and you know, we're going through another hurricane here in North Carolina, and I sat there and worked on weathering some Warhammer figures, action figures, Warhammer Joy Toy. In fact, there's one of them right there. There'll be an Instagram reel coming up later tonight or tomorrow with the total weathering. I'm going to do a weathering video one of these days. You know, a lot of my buddies, especially the Imperial Grunt, they describe when I weather something as doing a Chad. That is where I basically, they kind of say I can overdo weathering, which in some instances has been true. I've done some giant robot toys that look like they have been through hell and back. But with a Warhammer 40k Space Marine who's seen combat, I don't really think you can get them too dirty, can you? So, anyways, but yeah, we're going to do a Sand Trooper weathering one of these days. I also need to weather my Iron Maiden Eddie figure. Need to give him a little bit of a wash. He doesn't really need a thick weathering, but just something to make him look a little grubby. Also going to be doing putting together a custom 3.75 Space Trooper from A New Hope. For those of you that might know the scene, there's actually a stormtrooper standing on the outside of the Death Star as the Millennium Falcon is brought into the hangar with the tractor beam in A New Hope. If you blink twice, you'll miss him. Hasbro did a figure years ago, but it's on a really crappy body. So we're going to be using one of the new vintage collection figures, and we're going to be swapping out parts, and I'm also going to do some custom 3.75 Sand Troopers using older Sand Trooper parts with the newer 3.75 bodies for vintage collection. But those are just some of the projects I have on the horizon. I'm trying to get a bunch of my, I guess you'd say, non-horror and non-monster related reviews done in the next few days, because October's coming. And October's my favorite month of the year. I know it's cliche to say. There's a lot of people like, oh, October's my favorite month. And for me, it's more than just because I love Halloween. It's actually kind of a religious holiday for me. You know, I am not Christian. We're just going to say that. And, you know, that being said, you know, October, Samhain is a big part of my life. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that right now. We don't do religion or politics. So, so what we are looking at today is we are going to open a set of knockoff TMNT NECA figures, the turtles that came out 10, 12, 15 years ago by NECA. Strangely enough, there's several manufacturers in China that still make them. And I actually already own one set that I have on display in my home office, and I will do a walk around of all my nerd shit one of these days. But the NECA knockoffs really aren't that bad. They're actually pretty well done for what they are. And then recently, Playmates released a 40th anniversary TMNT based after the classic Turtle. So what we are going to do is we are going to compare the two, because since both sets are going to be used for toy photography, I kind of feel like comparing the two would make a good video. So anyways, let's take a moment, and I'm going to turn off the camera just so I can get all this stuff out of the bubble and packaging, because there's no sense in me keeping it, making you sit through a video of me opening all this shit. So I'll be right back, guys.
Gosh, it's kind of like moonlighting, isn't it?
All right, everybody, we're back. So here we go. We got both sets opened off the card, everything like that. So one of the first things I noticed when opening these, the NECA ones specifically, or the bootleg NECA ones, like I said, I already own a set of these. I bought them probably 4 or 5 years before the pandemic. So one thing I will say that seems to be a little different is the color of the plastic. So the ones that I got several years ago, they seem to have a lighter plastic and a little bit better wash. Looking at these NECA ones, I mean, they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all. I mean, for a knockoff figure that, considering a set of these, the NECA versions, if you want the official ones, are going to cost you several $100s. We're talking $300-$400 for a complete set of the originals in the pack. These are a great substitute. All 4 of these ran me, I think, right at $60 shipped from China. They are going to need a little bit of work. I've noticed a few paint imperfections, like for instance, you'll notice Donatello's eye right there is going to need a little extra white because it looks like he's squinting, and then of course Raphael's is almost completely painted over. So looks like the QC in China on these has gone down a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure those molds are starting to get old, and like I said, they could use a wash, but they are still looking good though. So let's go ahead and set all these aside for a sec and look at the Playmates. So the Playmates are really clean, and I'm sorry I don't have a Donatello, but the Playmates are really clean, but I'm not gonna lie, they look good. I'm going to look at the articulation in a second naturally. They come with these cool little collector cards. I'm not going to be keeping these. I will be putting these on my eBay store where I turn and burn toys. That's what my wife calls it, turning and burning, where I buy a toy, use it for toy photography, and then sell it, and then burn the money for another toy. For toy photography. I don't do it with all my toys, but ones that I don't have an attachment to, or if there's things like these cards that I know I'm not going to keep because these are going in my photo box, the figures, the name of my eBay store is Indie Rock Duo. It's me and my wife's store. We've had it for like 20 years. But point being is I'll leave the link to that in the description if you want to come find those cards and get them off me. If you mention that you watched my video and you want the cards, I might even hook you up somehow. I don't know how. Maybe throw something extra in the box or something. I don't know. But like I said, toss that aside. Okay, yeah, weapons. The Playmates version, the weapons are garbage. Oh my god. I mean, I guess I really can't complain. I mean, we are talking $10 Playmates figures. You really can't complain at $10 price point. These are definitely weapons that will get replaced when I use these for photos, because I will use both figures for photos. Whether I keep these, the Playmates version or not, that's the question, but it's all going to determine how the photos come out. But they definitely are going to need a wash. I will say I'm actually kind of impressed by the articulation as opposed to some Playmates figures. You got bicep swivel. You do not have wrist swivel, but you do have bicep. You got a joint that moves. Naturally, it only does a not quite 90 because he's got that elbow pad there. But like I said, they kind of look to be all the same sculpt. Yeah. It is Playmates. They're going to do what they have to cut costs. But they do all look to be the exact same sculpt except for the heads. So the bodies are the same sculpt. The heads are different. Everything's the same. So I guess I don't really need to look at all three figures. One will do. Naturally, like I said, the articulation's not bad. It'll work for toy photography, especially a running pose. These definitely got good leg articulation, which is actually something I was worried about with these. In the package, you really couldn't see that joint, and I was really concerned that there was no knee articulation. I would really like some ankle articulation, but again, $10, you can't really complain. Again, the hands all look to be the same, so you're not going to get any of those cool psi poses that you get with Raphael. Sword poses, though, like I said, sword pose, you're going to be able to get a good sword pose with Leonardo. I might eventually, possibly, find a aftermarket set of weapons for these guys. I don't like that. That's never mind. Now I see. Okay. Still, that's that's gonna be troublesome with some posing in for toy photography, but it's not so bad. Like I said, that's a pretty decent pose there. Look at him. That's not a bad pose. That'll make some good toy photography. Definitely needs a wash, though. He looks way too clean, and definitely going to have to invest in a weapon that's just a little better quality. I might be able to do something with Leo's swords, painting, but these, that's garbage, and those are garbage. The swords, I might be able to make something work. But the size and the nunchuck, I'm going to definitely have to figure something out. Okay, so now that we've looked at the Playmates up close, we're going to look at the NECA knockoff. So like I said, these have some definite potential. The hands are well enough that you can do those cool Raphael psi poses like that. Again, like I said, the The articulation, like I said, you have wrist swivel, elbow swivel, bicep swivel. The joints are a little loose, especially compared to my original set. But they definitely have a much better, it's a little loose. If I do photos, I'm going to have to definitely use some blue putty to keep those weapons in hand. But definitely, they definitely have a much better presence than the Playmates version. Yeah, that's really loose. Oof. Again, though, like I said, I'm gonna need to do something about that eye. Doesn't seem like it'll be too much problem. It looks like they put a little bit of wash on the headband. I know you can buy these without, or with the colored headbands too. I prefer the red ones because that is what was in the classic comic. On the cover of the classic comic was black and white, the original, and then it went color later. But yeah, definitely you can do much better poses with these. He can definitely. I'm not gonna lie, I might actually cancel the NECA ones that are coming out in a month or two from Big Bad Toy Store. I have way too much stuff on pre-order anyways. But yeah, these can definitely use a wash. And of course, so the old version, so this part right here on the old version that I have is actually a solid plastic piece. And so, I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually I don't know, maybe there's not on this one. So on the original one, there's a joint in here, a crunch joint, but you can't crunch it because this piece was solid on the old one. But this one, the piece is rubber, but doesn't look to be any crunch joint in there. So I guess it doesn't matter either way. Again, wow, he can kick his own ass, as Foosh would say. He's got good range. Really, my only two complaints with these are they need a good wash, good, just, extra little bit of paint here and there, and the joints are a little loose. Other than that, they are a good, like I said, substitute if you can't afford the NECA version, the official NECA version. I don't usually do bootleg stuff or knockoff, but the only reason I decided to do these because I already owned a set and I needed a set for toy photography because I don't want to take my other set out. And I know, strangely enough, there's not a lot of people who've reviewed these. There's a few people out there, but I haven't seen a recent video that reviewed them. So, since we have Leonardo from the Playmates version with his swords already in his hands, we are going to use Leonardo from the NECA version to compare to. Okay, so that wrist is a little tight. That's a little bothersome, but you know what? It is what it is. But like I said, comparing them side by side, again, like I said, $10 a figure, so a set of these is $40, a set of these is $60. Naturally, the quality is going to be a little better. Plus, this is based on a Playmates design, and this is based off the original NECA design that came out 10 or 15 years ago. Again, if you look at his back, there's a few things that are warped, like his swords are a little warped. Nothing that a little bit of hot water won't fix. Let's see if they fit. No, they do fit. They fit perfectly fine in there. Okay, I know that. Well, what was that? Oh, my bad. So, looks like the bottom of this hilt came off. But it pops right back on, so it's not really an issue. And the swords actually fit really well in his back. Not bad. I will say that is something I just noticed about the NECA version. No place to put their weapons on their backs or in their belt anywhere. That is a little bit concerning. I mean, I guess for combat poses, it's not going to matter, but you know, naturally there's a size difference. These, like I said, I've got several of the NECA comic versions, the Mirage releases, that I will be using these with for toy photos, like the Triceratons and, you know, the robot dudes with the Krang creatures in there. God, I'm really embarrassed about that. It's been years since I've read the original TMNT stuff, and I can't remember those guys' names. Were they Utrons or something like that? I can't remember. But, you know, I also have, you know, Fugitoid and a few others. So, like I said, there definitely will be some photos with these guys and those. These are probably going to be independent photos once I get some decent weapons for them. Photos, you know, just of them on their own once they get a wash. You know, I might even do a video of that, doing a wash of those dudes. But we'll go ahead and set those off to the side. So another thing, like I said, if you compare this Donatello's weapons, you'll notice that the ones that I bought a few years ago have a slightly better wash on them. The backpack straps, I don't know. I kind of like the darker ones better. I mean, like I said, there's definitely some differences. I mean, they're both, like I said, they both come from the same mold. If you look at that chest piece, you can see the identical, you know, molding. I mean, I don't know. I like the original one that I bought years ago better. I mean, maybe just because, you know, I have a little bit of the tism and I don't like change, but this one, though, was definitely going to make some good photos. He needs a wash. They need a wash. That is 100% sure they need a wash. They're not going to get my typical Warhammer wash where it's brown, green, you know, brown, black with a touch of green. These guys are just going to get a little bit of black wash, and that's it. Just something to highlight the details. Again, you know, Donatello, I will say his bow staff that comes with this one is way more straight than the one that I got years ago. Again, nowhere to put his bow staff back there, but I don't, like I said, look at that leg. Like, oh, that's, yeah. Like I said, only complaint is those loose joints, but you know what? For the cost, you can't bitch about it, can you? But yeah, he's definitely going to need a wash. Definitely going to need a little bit of touch-up before they go out for some toy photos. One thing I will say I like about Michelangelo, again, the weapons are way better than the Playmates, and the Michelangelo's nunchucks actually have metal chains. If I can get them off this little, out of here. There we go. Put that twist tie over there. Don't want Miss Gretel to get a hold of it. But like I said, they actually have metal chains. You know, I may be able to, you know, fudge these weapons for the Playmates shots. I mean, I might not have to invest in another set of weapons. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, those might work. But yeah, that's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Those could do the job. I mean, it's going to be used for toy photography, so, I mean, it's not like I need to really invest in extra weapons if I already have them, right? And, of course, these Psy... Oh, yeah, those Psy work good in his hand, too. So, yeah, these... I may be able to use the NECA weapons with the Playmates, because this, compared to this, that's garbage. We're not even going to look at that. Yeah, I mean, that's going to go in a parts bin and be used for fodder. I mean, actually, I might even sell those on eBay just because, God, those are really bad. But yeah, so that is the Playmates and NECA comparison and review. Like I said, these are a great alternative for if you can't afford the official version. And of course, like I said, the Playmates version aren't bad, but both definitely need a wash. Yeah. So, you know, keep checking my Instagram, Plastic Action Punk on Instagram. Hopefully these photos will be coming in a few weeks. I've got some other photo shoots that I just got done, like a Street Fighter photo shoot that will be going up tonight, which will probably be... Well, it'll be going up tonight as I'm recording this. It'll probably be a day or two before this video goes up. So it'll be already up if you want to see those Street Fighter photos. They were taken in the back lot in the boneyard of Turbo Time Subaru out in Sanford. Again, keep an eye out on my videos because I am going to be doing some... when October gets here, naturally, I during the whole month of October, I do a whole photo spread of videos, or I mean photo spread of horror figures, but I've actually got some figures lined up to do reviews of for October, some monsters and some goodies like that. I've got a Space Godzilla figure that will be coming soon in October for review. Gerald from Trilogy Comics gave me an extremely good deal on one when I was up there a few weeks ago during their shop cleaning. He gave me a really good deal on it because the box was damaged, and plus him being a good friend, he was just really cool about it. So, like I said, come October, that'll probably be the first video I do, is the Space Godzilla, which is my favorite Godzilla movie, is, you know, the one where Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. But I'm rambling on now, so thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk to you guys later.
Silent crime wave, but perhaps the most disturbing silence is that coming from City Hall.